Cason, and we're here at ASEN 2012 with Chris Cason. Now, for those of us who don't know you, how did you get started in entertainment?
I was an actor living in Dallas for quite some time, and then in terms of voiceover work, the short answer would be I lived in Dallas, they built Funimation in the Dallas area, and then I went to audition. But I was already an actor living in the area. Funimation came into being, and a friend said, "Hey, they're doing some really cool stuff down there. You should audition." And I said, "Okay, sure." You know, an actor auditions for stuff all the time, and I just went there, auditioned, and left, and had lunch, and didn't think twice about it, because you can't really dwell on auditions. That's the worst thing you can do. And I got a call back. And they said, "Hey, you're going to be in this show called Dragon Ball Z, and you're Tien Shinhan and Mr. Popo." And I said, "Okay, cool." Still not really knowing what that meant or what it would mean later. And that was 1998. So that's how it started.
All right. Now, you are one of the few people that have worked on the original Dragon Ball Z, and you have also worked on Kai. What has the experience been like working on the original and Kai? What challenges have been associated with going back and doing it all over again, but tweaking it up and making adjustments?
Well, it's a very unique situation where you would do a show, work on a show, wait years in between, and come back to doing it again. Only Full Metal Alchemist was like that. That's the only two times it's ever happened. And for me, honestly, working on Kai, now I know some fans who grew up watching the original Z, that's it. That's the final. That's the last word. And so I don't want to tarnish. I mean, you know, everyone likes what they like, and I can only tell you that my position, not as a fan of the show, but just as an actor working on the show, is that for me, working on Kai was just so much easier and so much better, because by that time, none of us were new anymore. The writers weren't new, the directors weren't new, and the actors weren't new. So we all knew the characters very well coming back. I feel like I did a better job only because I was better than I was when I first started in '98. So for me, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. And it's kind of like time travel when you work on a character, and then I don't know, 5, 6, I don't know how many years in between, more than that, I think. And then you come back and you do it again. It's like going to school, summer break, going back to school, but it's school that you like. So I had a great time working on that.
Now, it says in your bio you're working on Borderlands 2. What has that experience been like? What's it been like working with Gearbox?
Well, Gearbox is a great company. They're very collaborative. When I recorded working on Borderlands 2, there were representatives in the room, and we would make changes sometimes. Sometimes we'd go back in, and they would have expanded on the character that I did, which is great. And I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was me doing what I love to do, which is a bunch of different characters, a bunch of different voices. There's one character I did who screams to the point where my voice broke into "I'll be right out. I'll be out in a minute, Mom." There's that kind of scream happened, and I couldn't, I couldn't get away from it. I really enjoy working on Borderlands 2, and I saw a little bit of what they're working on, and it looks so cool. And I'm not even a gamer. I don't really, my thing about games is I always say I'm not good enough to get to myself in the game, but this is a game I would probably get because it was just so cool. But yeah, working with them was great, and all the folk at Gearbox, and Gearbox, if you hear me, good times.
All right. Now, since Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood has wrapped up, can you provide us with some thoughts about how you feel about the series in general?
How I feel about Full Metal Alchemist?
And your work on it.
Well, the Full Metal Alchemist has become, it's huge. You know, it's like one of the shows that people hold very near and dear to them. But it's very much like the Z story, where I walked in, I recorded Gluttony for Z. Hi, Gluttony for Full Metal. It's early-ish. And then there was a huge break, and then we did Brotherhood. And for me, it was the same thing where, you'll have fans of either one, but for me, I just felt better, I think, about Brotherhood. And I'm not just saying that because Gluttony had more to do, although that was great too. But I'm very grateful in general, but I'm very grateful to be a part of of shows that people really seem to care about, and Full Metal just happens to be one of them, and I really enjoyed working on it, and all the people in it.
Now, you're not only a voice actor, but you're also an ADR director. What responsibilities are associated with ADR directing? What challenges do you face in that line of work?
Well, the responsibilities are greater because you're putting together a puzzle. And in anime, of course, the actors coming in, they've never seen the script before. They've never, they're completely depending on you because you have the full picture. And they're coming in doing little bits here and there, sometimes talking to another character who is not talking at all, talking into space. And so they're relying on you completely. I always had a very sort of paternal feeling. You work on the show and you try to make it the best you can, and you think you have a real you find that thing that you love about it and you hold on to it. You finish it, and then it's not released to the public for another year in some cases. And so you're just curious. You think, gee, I hope the public likes it the way I do because I know I put so much time into it. But like I said, it's a lot of fun. Anime is sometimes boring to watch being made, but fun to watch in the final product. When you do 5 or 6 lines of "which way did he go?" or some little simple line, and you do it over and over again, sometimes it's kind of boring to watch, but the end product is something I've always been really proud of.
Great. Following up on that, when you're doing a series where you have ADR responsibilities and when you are acting, how does that synthesis contribute to either field?
Well, the acting informs the directing and vice versa. I think I became a better director from acting and a better actor from directing. And I know that the worst thing is when you direct yourself, because you're your own worst critic. You're a perfectionist anyway, and you're always tweaking and changing scenes and lines and stuff. So when you're in there, you always want to do it again and again and again to get it just right. But I think, I don't know, I think they all sort of fold into each other, and hopefully one has helped the other.
Now, between video games and anime, do you have a preference in acting roles?
A preference? I don't really have a preference. They're very different. Well, they're different yet the same, because it's sort of you'll notice a lot of anime people doing voiceover, doing video games and vice versa. I will tell you that just from once again a business point of view, video games, shorter time to record, little to no flaps to worry about in terms of matching the flaps in an anime dub, and typically it pays more. So that's pretty cool. That being said, sometimes the video games maybe don't resonate the way that anime properties do, like Full Metal Alchemist, Dragon Ball Z, or a lot. You really have a time to grow with characters, and there's a character arc, and they change, and all these things happen. In video games, not as much or not so much. But I do enjoy both, and I'm looking to do. I've worked on anime, as I said, since '98, so I'm looking to do even more games because I know that less, so I'd like to learn more about it.
All right. Now, is there any way fans can keep up with your work, your current projects, through online resources?
Yeah. I would direct them to my Facebook page, which is Chris Cason's. Chris Cason's Anime Chuckle Hut. Long story. And then on Twitter, you can go to. It would be Cason World. So that's how you can find me there. So yeah, those two are great resources for stuff I'm doing. I've been doing a lot of updating just on this con alone. So yeah, those two would be good.
Are there any projects at this time that you can discuss, or any final messages that you want to send out to the people listening?
Well, it's a cliche, but no, I can't discuss anything. And I hate that because I wish I could. But any message would just be thanks so much for being interested in what we're doing and going out and buying it and coming to cons and like I said, I feel very grateful and I appreciate it. So thanks, guys.
Thank you very much for being with us. Chris Cason, everyone.